Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue to read the Psalm. I finished Psalm 110 previously, and I'm going to continue to read Psalm 111. I'm going to read it. Praise the Lord. I will extol the Lord with all my heart. In the council of the upright and in assembly. Great are the works of the Lord. They are pondered by all who delight in them. Glorious and majestic are his deeds, and his righteousness endures forever. He has caused his wonders to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and compassionate. He provides food for those who fear him. He remembers his covenant forever. He has shown his people and the power of his works, giving them the lands of other nations. The works of his hands are faithful and just. All his precepts are trustworthy. They are steadfast forever and ever, done in faithfulness and uprightness. He provided redemption for his people. He ordained his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. So this is the Psalm 111. Again, we do not know the author, we do not know the time, and we do not know the circumstances when this psalm was written. But in general, the tone is to praise, to calling people, praise, extol this Lord from the heart. So praise the Lord. I will extol the Lord with all my heart in the council of the upright and the assembly. So, either in the whole psalm is, I think, is following this tone, either in the assembly or in the private councils, but just always praise the Lord. Great are the works of the Lord; they are pondered by all who delight in them. So this is because God is great. His works are great, and they are pondered by all who delight in them. So all delight in them will are looking forward to this wonderful works by the Lord. Glorious and majestic are his deeds, and his righteousness endures forever. So this is again saying that his righteousness endures forever. Righteousness means the justice. I think righteousness is really full concept. It's not one word can cover this righteousness. Righteousness is really broad, to my understanding, and it's a continuity. And glorious and majestic are his deeds. So this God is glorious and majestic, superior than anyone, superior to all the powers. And he has caused his wonders to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and compassionate. So the works, the wonders of the nature of the created by God was, everybody will remember it, and he's a gracious God and with passion. He provides food for those who fear him. He remembers his covenant forever. So he provides for those humble at heart, fear him, and remember his covenant. The covenant, I think, this covenant probably, if you recall, I think, to my understanding, the Bible mentioned 2 times of covenant. One is the rainbow. I think that's during Noah's time after the flood. The rainbow in the sky and was the covenant among God and people. God promised the earth or the people may suffer disasters, but not going to be ruined completely, as what blood did to the earth, flushing out all the people. Only Noah survived. And the other covenant, I think it's the commandment. That's 10 Commandments, really, in that tablet is really the covenant. And along, actually, the covenant, the promises with Abraham, with Jacob, with Isaac, I think condensed in this tablet, further extended and further solidified that covenant. So he has shown his people the power of his works, giving them the lands of other nations. So this is talking about the history, the establishment of the founding father, like Abraham and then Isaac and Jacob. They just migrate to the other land, and those land promised by God give them. The works of his hands are faithful and just. All his precepts are trustworthy, and this is because God is faithful. So the land from other nations to these people, because that's the God work, the works of his hand. They are steadfast forever and ever, done in faithfulness and uprightness. So this is whatever the nations they took from Abraham, the Canaanites, they took over, and it refers to, because of God, steadfast, and also the faithfulness of the God. And this belongs to uprightness, because it's what God judged to give that land, Canaanite, to the Israelites, so which means it's upright. He provided the redemptions for his people. He ordained his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. So he provided redemptions for his people. What redemptions also is another word of broad, comprehensive coverage. Redemption means not just the forgiveness. I think it's beyond that forgiveness. I ordained his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. That's contain the holiness and the awesome in his name. The fear of the Lord. I think the holy and awesome also contain in the redemption of this concept, really containing the holiness in this redemption process. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. So regardless of how wonderful this God is, the purpose is for people to fear this Lord. And the fear, Lord, is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. So if you recall from Abraham is really trembled, praying all the time, I think, really worship this God wherever he went. Just have a temporary pillar, set up the stones, and then he started to worship this God. And this is just and in his heart probably it's also every day, a daily basis, minute to minute, always thinking about this God with fear, because he was really dwelling in the foreign land. That shivering, that trembling, probably beyond the imagination, but eventually, because he is holding this promise from God, so he established for his descendants like stars and the sands. So this is Psalm 111. So I'm going to briefly from the Psalm 11. I think I see the praise, the tone of really highly praise this God, and I think on top of that, praise is the faith, because they believe whatever the success, the nations or the land granted to this to forefathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Israel, because that's the God promise. That's from the sovereign, so that taking as the righteousness and also the promise and redemption. So I'm going to stop here, and you can read and interpret in your own way. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.